The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, I'm Nate Elms, and here are your 10:30 a.m. news headlines. The City of Burnaby announced plans to launch a new task force with the aim to improve economic growth and resilience in the region. Burnaby Mayor Mike Hurley expects the task force to begin work in early 2026, with members being finalized and announced later this year. The mayor hopes to use Burnaby's location, amenities, and transit access to attract new economic opportunities. Bill 15 is a bill that aims to speed up public and private infrastructure in BC. Indigenous and environmental lawyer Sharon Singh says critics of the bill have genuine concerns about the rollout of the legislation. But she also says the province and recent federal election has raised concerns about the pace of permitting.
It was an issue, and now you have a potential tool that's seeking to address that. We also are facing a situation where, not just because of President Trump, but other reasons, we have a need to promote, at least from the political point of view, more economic activity.
She says Bill 15 doesn't undermine the constitutional obligations of the provincial government to consult First Nations. The City of Vancouver unveiled a new city-funded childcare centre in the Mount Pleasant Neighbourhood House. The new $14.2 million childcare centre has space for 69 children aged 0 to 5 years old. This is one of 6 new childcare centres set to open in Vancouver by 2026. In national news, Honda Canada announced the delay of a $15 billion investment into electric vehicle development in Ontario. The postponement is supposed to last about 2 years, according to a spokesperson for Honda Canada. The reason for the delay is a slowdown in EV sales, despite the recently debuted Honda Prologue EV having a very promising sales record in 2024, according to Honda themselves. Ontario Premier Doug Ford believes that this is not permanent and should not affect existing Honda production in the province.
Well, when I've talked to Honda, they've promised us they're going to continue on with their expansion. They're going to keep that facility moving forward. So we'll just see how that moves forward. But we're very confident that we'll continue producing Honda vehicles here in Ontario.
Honda plans to remain flexible and will continue to monitor and evaluate changing market conditions. Canadian rapper Tory Lanez has been hospitalized after an attack by another inmate at a California prison where he's serving a 10-year sentence for shooting hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion in the feet. Our producer Isabella Vertone has more.
Officials did not specify how he was attacked, but a message on the rapper's Instagram account said he was stabbed 14 times and both his lungs collapsed. The post said Lanez, who was convicted of 3 felonies for shooting a handgun at Megan in the summer of 2020, is breathing on his own. His lawyers are appealing his conviction. Anchor Nate Elms has a clip from Tory Lanez's song, Violet.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has unveiled his new cabinet today at Rideau Hall, opting to bring in plenty of fresh faces. Of the 28 minister positions and 10 Secretary of State positions, 24 will be new to Parliament. Former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien spoke outside the Governor-General's residence ahead of the ceremony.
I think it's a good day, and we'll have a new cabinet and a new Parliament within days, and we have a virtual majority. We're close to a majority, so it will be very stable.
After a tight recount in a Quebec riding, the federal Liberals now have 170 seats in Parliament, just 2 shy of a majority. In his first address as pontiff, Pope Leo XIV made a plea to end world conflicts and called for peace. Reporter James Longman tells us how the pontiff is making good on it.
Pope Leo saying the war in Gaza had hurt him deeply and that a just peace was needed in Ukraine. No more war. His words echoed across the square to huge applause.
Mai più la guerra.
And a sign that Pope Leo is serious about peace. He made a call to President Zelensky about the war in Ukraine. Zelensky called it a warm and substantive conversation.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine is counting on the Vatican's help in securing the return of thousands of children that the government says have been deported by Russia. Thanks for listening. 10:30 a.m. news headlines. My name is Nate
Stay
Nellis.
tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning. I'm Gabe Liesi with BCIT's The Crow. Here are your sports headlines to 10:40 a.m. Starting with hockey, the Edmonton Oilers got to work early last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Forward Adam Henrique scored twice in the first period, and Evander Kane pitched in with a goal in the second as well as an assist. Goaltender Stuart Skinner earned his first win of the postseason with a 23-save shutout. It is his second career playoff shutout and his first win since the last game of the regular season against the San Jose Sharks. Skinner praised the team's effort.
Just putting on our work boots, our hard hats, and just going to work. The way that we've competed over a number of games is pretty incredible.
The series shifts back to Sin City for Game 5 tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. with the Oilers ahead 3-1. Vegas will have to defend home ice to stave off elimination and force the series back to Edmonton. The Carolina Hurricanes also pulled ahead 3-1 in their series against the Washington Capitals last night with a 5-2 win at PNC Arena in Raleigh. Forward Sean Walker led the way with a goal and assist as Shane Gostisbehere, Seth Jarvis, Taylor Hall, and Andrei Svechnikov also scored for the Canes. Goals from Jacob Chikrin and Alexander Ovechkin were not enough, and the Capitals are now on the brink of elimination after finishing first in the East in the regular season. Game 5 goes at 4 p.m. on Thursday afternoon in D.C. Sticking with hockey, the BCHL Best of 7 Championship Series has been set. The Chilliwack Chiefs beat the Victoria Grizzlies 4-1. The Chiefs wrapped up the series on Friday with a 5-4 victory at the Chilliwack Coliseum. They will be joined in the final by the Brooks Bandits after they dispatched the Penticton Vees 4-2. The Bandits won Game 6 last night by a score of 3-1. The schedule for the series has yet to be determined. Marie-Philippe Poulin of the Montreal Victoire, Sarah Fillier of the New York Sirens, and Hilary Knight of the Boston Fleet are the finalists for the Professional Women's Hockey League's Forward of the Year award. Poulin, the Victoire's captain, is a finalist for the second straight season. The 34-year-old Quebec native led the PWHL with 19 goals, including 6 game winners, and finished 4th in scoring with 26 points in 30 games. Fillier made an immediate impact with the Sirens after being selected first overall in the 2024 PWHL draft, tying Knight for the scoring lead with 29 points in 30 games. The 24-year-old from Georgetown, Ontario, became the first player in PWHL history to score in 5 consecutive games from February 23rd to March 16th. Knight showed the largest offensive improvement from the PWHL's inaugural season after totaling 11 points last year. The Fleet's captain's 15 goals included 4 on the power play. Winners of all PWHL awards will be announced on June 25th at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Ottawa. To basketball now. Last night's NBA draft determined that the Dallas Mavericks will have first dibs on Duke University standout Cooper Flagg. The Blue Devils' small forward is just 18 years old and was named men's college basketball's player and rookie of the year this past season. The Mavericks had just a 1.8% chance of winning the draft lottery at the beginning of the night. It could be the boost needed for a franchise that traded away Luka Doncic this past year, one of the best players in the NBA. The Toronto Raptors will pick 9th overall in next month's draft. The Raptors moved down 2 spots after having the 7th worst record in the 2024-25 regular season. Toronto had a 31.9% chance at a top 4 pick and a 7.5% chance at the top overall selection. The New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics last night by a score of 121-113 and subsequently went up 3-1 in their series. The other game last night saw the Minnesota Timberwolves move to within 1 win of a spot in the Western Conference Final. They beat the Golden State Warriors 117-110 off the backs of 2 30-point performances by both Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards. That's been sports to 10:45. I'm Gabe Liesi. Thank you for listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.